Hello everybody, Pokemon Trainer Rob here. Welcome to the second edition of the Pokemon Go log. I did an episode last week. I asked you guys if you were interested in seeing more episodes like these, so I decided to pretty much log an entire week plus a few days worth of progress in. And this is pretty much what I got, so I'm going to be talking about some of the things that have happened in Pokemon Go for me from July 13th through July 20th. So Wednesday of last week to Wednesday of this current week. So this may go up on Friday or Saturday. It may not go up on the day that I actually record this. It is Wednesday right now, and I don't have any other plans to go out on Wednesday to get any more Pokemon. So I figured this would be basically the stopping point, or the just the period of time I'm going to be using for these log videos. So I guess very quickly I'll talk about what my current level is and what my Pokedex is at, stuff of that nature. Currently I am at level 15. I just recently unlocked the ability to get Hyper Potions from Pokestops. I've been getting Great Balls from Pokestops since last week, because the level up for that is you have to be level 12 and you can start getting Great Balls. And I don't think I was even level 10 when I did my first log either, so I started getting Super Potions from that. So that's my basic level up progress. As far as my Pokedex progress, last time I was 37 Pokemon caught, 38 seen. Now I am 53 caught, 53 seen, so that little bugger that I was having trouble getting on my Pokedex last time is in my Pokedex now, so hooray for that. I'm not going to list all the Pokemon I got because they'll be inserted throughout the process of the log. What I think I'm going to be doing for this is first I'm going to go over just basically how the entire week progressed and that nature, talk about all the Pokemon I got, and just kind of briefly talk about how I got them and where I got them. I'm not going to give the exact location, but, like if it happened during a night walk, then I'll say, okay, I got this one during the night. So that's basically how I'll do that. So let's go ahead and start with Wednesday the 13th. This was actually a pretty progressive day for Pokemon. I actually got 5 Pokemon on this day. One of the major stories, though, from this day is I caught a random 270 CP Eevee, and when I got it, I had enough candy, which I immediately evolved it, and it turned into Vaporeon, which was a evolution I did not have yet, and it actually overtook Hypno as my strongest Pokemon, because when it evolved, it was over 800, or no, it was over 750 CP. And I've been leveling up that furiously whenever I can, whenever I have enough Stardust. So Vaporeon is officially my first Pokemon over 1000 CP. It's not very much over 1000, and my Hypno is also getting kind of close to that too. It's like in the 900s right now. But those are definitely my 2 strongest Pokemon, my Vaporeon and Hypno. And I think those are 2 good Pokemon to have, because Psychic's always a very powerful typing. And one thing I like about Vaporeon is it's just straight up water. It's not like a dual type or anything. So I can probably get some good use out of that. And I've seen a lot of fire Pokemon too, so having Vaporeon actually really helped me in that sense. So I was glad to add that to my team. I also got an Abra, Bulbasaur, and Goldeen. The only problem is I was a car passenger when this was going on, so I could not get a picture of any of those 3, unfortunately. But during the day, there were actually a lot of rainstorms happening, which kind of sucked because I wanted to go out and, get some more Pokemon and have some more adventures for this log specifically. But it was raining all day. The only time I got was after the first rainstorm. There was a little bit of time where I could go out and walk around for a little bit, and sure enough, on my radar during that time, an Ekans popped up. So Ekans is the only picture I got from this day, but still, it was a good catch. I'm glad I was able to add Ekans to my Pokedex, because that was a weird Pokemon where I've seen it on the radar a few times, but I never got it. and this time I just lucked out, got it in between two thunderstorms, and went back in before the second one started, which was really, really nice. But yeah, I didn't really get to do a whole lot this day. In fact, a ponyta actually appeared at one point, but by the time I got outside and ready to go, it was already gone, and I was kind of in the middle of something already, so I was like, I'll have other chances to get it, which kind of sucked because I really wanted a ponyta. I really like ponyta, and since this is only Gen 1 Pokemon right now, I kind of figured, well, I might as well have Pokemon that were on my Gen 1 team. I don't think I have any of my team with me yet. I mean, I have an Execute, but I'm going to have to get a lot more Execute before it'll be Executor. I haven't seen a Poliwag yet, haven't seen Doduo. I guess I did get a Cubone, but once again, that's kind of the same thing as Execute. I'm going to need to get a lot of candy for that to happen. So I haven't really been seeing a lot of my team members around, unfortunately, but maybe that'll change, and I'll be able to have a very solid member in the future. But yeah, that's pretty much all that happened on Wednesday the 13th. Let's move on to Thursday, July 14th, where this day definitely had a huge highlight. Only got one new Pokemon. The day pretty much started out with me once again tracking a Ghastly, because Ghastly did appear on my radar, and I was able to find it, but after throwing only one ball, it ran away. So, once again, Ghastly eluded me. Stupid frickin' Ghastly. I'm so mad at Ghastly because of that. I should have gotten that when I was visiting Pokemon Cheese in Malkinor Beck, but we couldn't find it, and there have been several times since then where I tracked one and couldn't find it, and this was just kind of pouring more salt on the wound, so Ghastly was still very elusive. Now, in this adventure, which started out with the Ghastly hunt, I was able to find a Horsey at one point, which was kind of cool. And it was actually really nice because I was exploring kind of a new part of town that I hadn't walked in yet. And I was finding a lot of Pokemon. A lot of them were ones I already had, but, you know, there were a lot of Eevees, which I was kind of grinding up the evolutions anyway, especially after how good Vaporeon turned out. And at the very end of the road is when I started tracking the Horsey, and I just went down the road a little further and I found it. And I was happy about that, and as soon as I found a Horsey, a Slowpoke appeared on my radar. And this is where I perhaps made the biggest mistake of me playing this game since it came out. Around this time, it got really, really hot out, and I was already out for about like 45 minutes or so. And I really wanted to get this Slowpoke. So I started, you know, doing my method for tracking, walking in one direction, see how it moves on the radar. If it moves away, I start walking in a different direction. And if it actually gets closer, I continue in that direction, just paying very close attention to the radar. This is also when the radar bug kind of first started, I think, because this is probably what prevented me from getting Slowpoke. But for the most part, I was still trying to track it anyway. So, I'm tracking this Slowpoke. It's getting really, really hot, almost 100 degrees. I think it was in the like mid-90s at this point. It's the middle of the afternoon. The sun is straight up in the air. And I'm getting like super tired. I'm really burning up, sweating profusely. After about an hour of trying to track this damn Slowpoke, I'm like, you know, I should probably go home. And it was hard walking home. I was like limping almost because it was just so hot and it just felt so miserable outside. And when I got home, I swear, I almost fell down and collapsed like right on the floor. I was honestly kind of glad my parents were there because they kind of helped me up and they kind of gave me some water and kind of gave me my space so I could sit down and relax for a bit. So yeah, in addition to, you know, watching what you're doing while you're walking around, and also, like, don't play this game and drive, and all those other warnings, make sure you are prepared for the weather conditions as well. Even if it's sunny out, the heat can be deadly. Like, you have no idea. I'm never going to make that mistake again. I'm going to take lots of bottles of water with me whenever I'm walking out in the middle of the afternoon. It's just something you really got to look out for, because I could have actually been in a lot of danger if I like just fainted in the middle of my walk and there was like nobody around. That could have been really, really bad. Thankfully, nothing bad happened, though, and I'm going to be safer from now on. And, again, just be very careful, because weather can be a very, very cruel mistress, as well as the various other things that can go wrong while playing this game. So just be very careful. So yeah, that was pretty much what happened this day. Only got a horsey, unfortunately. Not a very good day, but you know, it was definitely a memorable day. It taught me a few lessons about the game and how I should be playing it. And like I said, this is also when the 3-footprint radar bug started happening, which I'll be talking about more in a later part of this log video. So Friday the 15th, only got 2 new Pokemon today. And due to the events of the previous day, I stayed pretty much close to home all day. I did go next door to where that Pokestop is, and I actually tried out using a lure. And I was actually really disappointed. I did not get a lot of Pokemon from that. And whenever I did, it was just the usual Pidgey, Weedle, Rattata combo. I think the most unique thing I found was a Venonat, but I had a Venonat by that point, so that wasn't really that interesting. I did hatch my 10-kilometer egg, though, which turned out to be a Pinsir. Unfortunately, like evolving Pokemon and those other Pokemon I got where I couldn't take pictures, I couldn't take a picture of the Pinsir because it hatched. I don't have a way to snapshot things on my phone when it doesn't have the camera icon. Maybe there is a way, I'm just not really that familiar with the phone and how the program works with the camera and everything. I think you can only take pictures, though, when you have the camera icon in the lower right. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's like a print screen button that I'm unaware of. I'll need to figure that out. I'm still very foreign to these kinds of phones. But, yeah, so I got that Pinsir from an egg. Later on that night, when it was a bit cooler out, I did decide to go out. I did take a bottle of water with me, and the sun was pretty much down, so I wasn't going to be in any major danger or anything like that. Didn't find anything. I didn't get anything new. I got a few EVs, which did allow me to finally get my 3rd EV up to Flareon, and I have all the evolutions now. So now I'm still going to be catching a lot of EVs because evolutions are really, really powerful Pokemon in this game. You see them a lot at gyms, and I can understand why. They get very, very high CP when you level them up. And it's also pretty good coverage, too, because you have a fire type, a water type, and electric type. That does cover quite a few of the types very, very well. So I'm going to definitely try to work on getting some evolutions of my own. But I'm also going to keep powering up my Hypno, too, because I do like how I have Fernando the Hypno as one of my most powerful Pokemon. So yeah, I got the Flareon, but once again, can't really show a picture because of the whole camera thing. So that's pretty much what happened there. That's the only Pokemon I got from that night adventure. And something really annoying kind of happened during that night as well. I was actually taking over a gym, and in the process of the final battle, some people drove up in a car. I was at the church because there was a gym there, so I kind of just sat on the bench outside. I was working on taking down all the Pokemon, and as soon as I take them down, I watch as the gym turns to Mystic. And I'm part of Team Mystic. I don't think I even mentioned that in my first video. My apologies. But yes, I am on Team Mystic. And I was like, oh, I didn't even put a Pokemon in. But then that's when it hit me. Oh, the people in the car are Team Mystic. And normally I wouldn't mind because, oh, hey, well, Team Mystic got the gym. I mean, my team still won. But what I hate about that is I couldn't even put one of my Pokemon in the gym because there were 3 people in the car and they just, like, filled it up immediately. And then, like, they just said sorry, and then they just drove away. And I kept watching the map the entire time. They did this to every single gym in the town, and there's 5 gyms in the town. So they weren't even like walking around like I was. They were just driving to every location and taking them out from under my nose pretty much, which was really, really annoying because, yeah, I mean, they are Team Mystic. We did win. We did get the gym, but I couldn't put my Pokemon in, which was kind of the point. And if they do give you rewards for having your Pokemon in the gym, because when you put a Pokemon in the gym and you go to the shop, you have a little icon in the top right, where if you click that, you get 10 coins per Pokemon you have in all the gyms. So you can actually save those up and start getting some of those items, like a better bag to hold more items. You can hold more Pokemon. You can get like incenses, lure modules, egg incubators, all those other items. But I just got kind of screwed over because these people just were riding around just sniping gems from people, and I think that's just really, really lame. There's people who are actually like going to those levels just to do that. And I'm sure that there's people who have it much worse in busier parts of different areas or more populated areas. So I'm not trying to like be all butthurt about it, but I think it is kind of like really crappy design that someone can do all the work and then not reap like any benefits. I think you still get like Stardust and experience for doing that, but still it's just kind of lame, and I really didn't like it. I had kind of a sour taste that night after playing it, and I was even ranting to some of my friends in Puddle Plains about it too. It was just not a really good experience, and I was just not really... I just really wasn't that happy with how that went down. But that's all I'm really going to say about it, and that's pretty much all that happened that night. So, the next day was Saturday the 16th, was it? Yeah, 16th. Not a lot happened today. It was pretty hot out today. During the late afternoon, I drove to a different part of town and kind of walked around there for a bit. I hatched a Psyduck from my 5-kilometer egg that I had. So it was cool to get that addition to my Pokedex. That was the only new Pokemon I got. But, again, not really any progress. And it's kind of a shame because this is just when things were really not progressing that much. And unfortunately, the following day was kind of the same way, too. So we have Sunday, July 17th. I caught nothing today. And I was really hoping to get a lot on this day in particular because this was my grandmother's birthday, and we were driving like 2 hours away to go visit her. So I was like, okay, well, this is kind of cool. I get to visit with my family. I get to see my grandmother, who I don't get to see very much. And, you know, in the midst of that visit, I can go out and walk around in a new area. And I was really excited to try that, but it rained the entire frickin' time I was there, so I couldn't even go out. And by the time we left, it was still raining, so I didn't actually get to capitalize on that at all, which was just kind of really, really lame. When my parents were driving us there, though, I did get to try to use Pokemon Go as a passenger. Didn't really work out too well, though. See, the problem with doing the passenger strategy, like having someone drive you around to do all the Pokemon Go stuff, it doesn't really work unless you're in like a small residential area where there's very small speed limits. Because when you're going too fast, the game really won't work. Pokemon won't show up. You won't get any steps for your eggs. You can't really scan any Pokestops or gyms or anything like that. There's just no way you can really do it. So you have to kind of wait till you're at like a busy intersection or something and hope there's a Pokemon there. Or like I said, just like during the little rides through residential areas, kind of use that to find Pokemon. So I did get to use that a little bit, but I didn't get any new Pokemon, and I did see a lot of Pokemon on the radar. I saw various Pokemon I hadn't had yet. I saw a Poliwag, I saw a Mankey, I saw a Squirtle at one point. Again, just a lot of Pokemon that I could have added to my collection, but I couldn't because, for one, the radar was busted as it was. It's still having the 3-step radar issue. And, like, I wasn't going to have my parents, like, just drive around helping me get Pokemon. Like, we had a place to go. We had things to do. And, it just really shows that you can't really drive around and do this in a car format. It just really, really doesn't work. I mean, it does to an extent. Like, again, if you're driving in a residential area like my town, but I don't know. I think that kind of just defeats the purpose of the app and why this is honestly a really cool thing to do, because it's about getting out there, walking around, having your own Pokemon adventure and stuff like that. But driving around just to get like as many Pokemon as quickly as possible, taking over gyms as quickly as possible, just seems kind of lame. And I honestly just recommend you do not do that. It just, I don't know. It's just really, really stupid. And wasn't a big fan of that, but Honestly, it did teach me a few things. It taught me about, like, okay, if you're going too fast, you can't get the app to work or do anything, so don't go too fast and use the app. You shouldn't even be using it while you're driving anyway, so why even bother? And, I don't know, it also just kind of gave me an idea of how Pokestops are laid out, how they're just kind of, like, laid out in, like, certain towns, the kind of monuments that they select for the Pokestops and the gyms and all of that. So that was kind of cool finding out, like, that kind of information. It's actually really funny because whenever we drive to my grandma's house, we always pass this chicken restaurant, and they have this huge chicken statue outside. And, like, I was saying the entire ride, that chicken is going to be a Pokestop. That chicken is going to be a Pokestop. And sure enough, it was. So I thought that was really, really cool. So that was kind of a neat aspect of the app today. But again, I didn't get anything, didn't evolve anything, didn't take over any gyms. It was kind of a bust, but I'm not going to complain about it. So next we have Monday. Monday was actually a pretty eventful day. I finally tracked the Ghastly down that it's been eluding me for a while. And it was actually kind of interesting because I saw the Ghastly on the radar and I was like, you know, I wonder if it's going to be near the area where I found it the first time where it ran away. So I went in that direction. I didn't quite get there, but I did find it on the way, and I finally got it. So I used kind of my prior logic to help me get it. Don't know if that actually worked or not because, again, it's all random, but still, I was able to get Ghastly finally, and I was really, really happy about that. The second Pokemon I got on this day, and funny story about this one too, during the process of these last few days, I've been saving up Venonat candies because I noticed I was getting really close to having 50 candies for a Venomoth. And I swear, when I had 48 Venonat candies, and I had no extra Venomats in my party at that point, it was basically, okay, I just need to capture one more Venonat and I can get a Venomoth. Literally, right after I say that, the next Pokemon I find is a Venomoth. In the wild. I didn't even evolve the Pokemon. I actually found one in the wild. And, yeah. So, I mean, I do think it's cool to have, like, the evolutions appear in the wild, too. So you can catch them that way. But, I don't know. It just kind of shows that sometimes I feel like the candy values are just too high. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem worth it to save up candies if you can pretty much find every evolution in the wild anyway. Because, keep in mind, I found a Starmie in the wild. A Starmie which takes a Water Stone in the actual games to obtain. So, I don't know, I kind of have mixed feelings about that. I think it is cool you can find them in the wild, but if you can find them easily, I almost feel like the candy values to evolve should be a lot lower. But that's just me. That's just me in my opinion. So yeah, I did find a Venomoth, and I did find enough Spearow in this route to evolve one of my Spearow into Fearow. So, was able to get 3 Pokemon today. Don't have a lot to say about my journey. It was a pretty typical adventure. I was just glad I got something. I got more Pokemon in that day than I did during the last 3 days. So, that was definitely a welcome change. Didn't go out that night, though. So, next day was Tuesday. Tuesday was a big evolution day. I was able to find a few Oddish, and I was able to find a few Bellsprout, which allowed me to evolve them to Gloom and Weepinbell, respectively. So, I was happy to get those, although I was a little bummed because right after I got Gloom, I found an Oddish that was an higher CP than the one I evolved. So I was like, oh, well, I could have waited and I would have had a better Oddish. But it's okay, it's okay. I feel like the best way to do the candies, the candy evolutions, is wait till you have enough candies for both evolutions, and then take whatever your highest Oddish is at that point, and just evolve that twice. I feel like that's the best way to do it. I know you won't be increasing your Pokedex at the rate you want it to, but that way you're not like gonna miss out on a higher CP value later on. I feel like I'm gonna start doing that from now on, just to make sure that I actually get things in the most efficient way possible, and so I don't like get screwed over on the CP value. And I also was able to hatch an Abra, which gave me a lot of candy, and give me enough candy to actually get the evolution of Abracadabra, so I was able to get a third evolution that day as well. And this was also a day where I took over a few gyms, and I was able to actually capitalize on it and get more than just 10 coins. I was able to get, I think, 30 coins that day, because I took over 2 gyms in my hometown, and I took over 1 gym when I went to the fitness gym that day. So I was able to get 3 gems, which gave me 30 coins for that day, which was really, really nice. I was about, like, I want to say, like, 1/4 of the way to the first bag upgrade, or it might be the only bag upgrade. I don't know if they give you any further upgrades. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And that night, I was actually introduced to a website. Now, before you guys call me a cheater or anything like that, I'm only going to be using this website until the radar gets fixed, because at this point, still having trouble with the 3-step radar. My friend Praise Scooter turned me on to this website called, let me very quickly look at the name of it while I have it up still, Pokevision, which basically connects to the app, and whenever it is working, you can actually see where a certain Pokemon is. So during that night, I used the website just to test it out, and a Nidorino appeared across the street from where I live. So I went outside, went across the street, and sure enough, a Nidorino appeared. So I was able to get Nidorino in that fashion. Again, I know that might seem like I was cheating because I wasn't using the app itself or the tracking function of the app, but again, you can't really track Pokemon right now because of the glitch and the bug. So I just kind of was like, you know what? I could actually locate this and track it down if that radar was actually working, but since it's not, I'm not going to feel bad about this. So I pretty much did just that. I just used the Pokevision website. It's pokevision.com. I don't know if you have to have like any of the other parts of the link. I think you should be able to get to it. Yeah, you can get to it just by going to pokevision.com. And yeah, it's a really cool app. It's kind of cool how they have kind of figured out the formula, or just in general the way to connect to the game and actually show you, if you go to a specific area, you can see what Pokemon are around and what exact location they're at. I do think that is really, really cool. But again, once the radar gets fixed, I'm not going to be using the site anymore, because honestly, I enjoy the tracking element of this game so much. I think it's so much fun to figure out where a Pokemon's going to be, but again, you can't do that right now. It's broken. You can't track Pokemon. You'll know that there's one in the area, but you'll have no idea if you're getting closer to it. And no, don't tell me the picture's locations can tell you where it is, because that does not help. It's been proven that that is not true. If it has worked for you, then you got lucky and it appeared there. I hate saying that, but it's true, because I've seen Pokemon that were in the 9th position appear right next to me, while the one in the 2nd and 3rd position never appeared at all. So it is random. It doesn't tell you how close it is, and it won't tell you how close it is until this issue is actually fixed. So again, I'm using the site just until it's fixed. I've only used it for basically that Nidorino. That's the only new Pokemon I got from the Pokevision site. And that's pretty much all that happened on that Tuesday. Tuesday, July 19th. Yeah, Tuesday, July 19th. So the last day is today when I'm recording this. Again, it may not be uploaded. This video may not be uploaded on the same day. But the final day of this log, this is going to be a long video. But hey, I mean, it's a log video. I'm supposed to be talking about the game. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm talking about my Pokemon adventures. And I'll try to have something like on the video so you guys can actually see something aside from just a still image of the Pokemon Go logo. But the last day, Wednesday, July 20th, I actually got up early. And before I went to the gym, I actually decided to try something. I decided to basically take over every gym in town. Because for some reason, I guess the night before, someone went around and did the same thing. and they were able to take over every single gym and only have like one Pokemon in each gym. So I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to take over everything. And that's pretty much what I did. There was already one Team Mystic gym, but I took over the other 4 gyms, claimed them as Team Mystic, and right after I did that, I claimed my coin reward, so I got 40 coins from that. That was a really cool feeling. It was just a cool feeling of being able to go to all those locations, take over all the gyms, and actually get rewarded for it. And that was probably the most rewarding experience of Pokemon Go so far. Well, I don't know if I want to say that, but it was definitely the greatest feeling about the gym mechanic for me. Because I've been kind of like back and forth on how I feel about the gyms. I think gyms should be in the game. I think they should be handled differently. You can still get some enjoyment out of them now, and they were heading in the right direction. But just some of the mechanics just don't really work for them that well. So I'll kind of, I guess, again, I'll kind of talk about that later. But yeah, I was able to take over all 4 gyms. It was nice. I was able to get some good experience from that. And did I get any Pokemon today? No, I did not. So that was the only thing worth mentioning from that day. I'm currently working on hatching 2 eggs. Hopefully those 2 eggs will hatch something cool. And that's pretty much my adventure from my last log up until now, up until this log. So that was kind of cool. But seeing how this has actually reached the 30-minute mark, I probably should start wrapping this up. To be honest, I didn't expect the log section to actually go on this long, but to be fair, I guess I was talking about 7-8 days worth of content and how I basically learned something new each day. Each day had a unique adventure or a unique happening that I think really kind of speaks volumes for just how many different experiences you can have with this app by itself. So I guess what I'm going to be doing from this series from now on is, because I have kind of had a day-by-day log series, I kind of had a first impression series. I guess all Pokemon Go log videos from now on will kind of be just, if there is a day that's worth talking about where I do have one of these like unique happenings or adventures, I can talk about them alongside showing all the pictures of the Pokemon I got, and again just kind of talking about all of the Pokemon and how I got them or how I missed them, if there's any funny stories involved. And I guess that's just how I'll approach these from now on. I'm not going to do this every single week. Believe it or not, it does kind of take a bit of time to make these, even if it is just me talking and putting still images on the back. It does take a lot to kind of work on these and get these videos out there. So I probably won't actually have a new Pokemon Go log video until August, or at least maybe the first week of August. I'll try to aim my next log video for that. And again, I'll be just kind of handling this in a kind of a different way, because I'm not going to be able to go out and go on adventures every single day. I did kind of in this sense, just because the app is still new, and I kind of want to hang around with the app a lot more because it is a new app, and you know, just kind of giving my personal thoughts on Pokemon Go in general. So as time goes on, I don't see myself going out there every single day, although I would like to make it a habit to at least go on at least a walk every day to hatch some eggs and maybe work on my Pokedex a little bit. If I can find a Pokemon that I haven't gotten yet, that's good. But if not, I'll have plenty of eggs to hatch, so I can at least get Pokemon in that fashion. So for the next video, I guess to close this video out first, how am I liking the game? Am I still enjoying the game still? I very much am. I think that Pokemon Go is still great. I still think it's very, very early in the cycle of this game being released. I didn't really want to say development cycle because, you know, it is technically out by this point. But, you know they're going to make updates to this in the future. They're going to add more Pokemon. They're going to try to insert some new mechanics. As it stands right now, the only thing I want them to work on is I want them to frickin' fix the radar issue. Because like I said before, the tracking is the most fun element of the game, at least for me. So I want them to fix that. Niantic, if you're listening, which I don't think you are, but if you just so happen to listen to this video, please fix the radar and have a specially designed team to checking in on that every now and then, because it is kind of a shame that the most fun aspect of the game is currently not working, and I really love the radar. The radar is so cool. It's so cool to use to figure out where Pokemon are and track Pokemon down. I love that aspect of it, and it needs to be working better. So please just work on that. Server issues, I mean, I know you're still releasing the game to a lot of countries around the world. It's still trying to get used to all the traffic. I'm not really concerned about that. And while I do think the gyms should be worked on and maybe changed around a bit and how they work, first priority, the radar. Like, we can worry about the gem stuff later. For right now, the radar needs to be fixed, and that's the only thing I'm going to say about that. So to also end this video, I want to kind of promote some discussion with you guys. I did kind of highlight how I think gyms are kind of in a problematic state right now, and how I did have that kind of explanation of that very terrible night where the gyms were just kind of frustrating me and how they're handled. I want to know what you guys think about the gyms, but first, tell me what team you're on. What team are you? I'm on Team Mystic, for those who forgot that, but what team are you guys on? Are you on Valor, Mystic, Instinct? Let me know in the video comments. Tell me why you picked that team. I picked my team because I do like Articuno, and I do declare blue as my favorite color, so it seemed like the natural direction for me. And then, following all that, just tell me what you think of the whole gym/team mechanic. Do you like it? Do you hate it? If you like it, why do you enjoy it? If you hate it, why do you hate it? And if you think you could improve the mechanic in any way, how would you do that? Like, what advice would you give to Niantic to actually fix this issue? Because I think there are definite ways you can improve it. I personally don't have any suggestions myself, but I do have a series of problems that I do have with them. I do hate how you can basically get sniped from owning a gym when you're the one who does all the work. I think it's kind of very unbalanced how some teams can overload the gyms with very powerful Pokemon and you don't have anything to combat that. I feel like it should maybe scale down a little bit, maybe for lower leveled people to at least give them a chance. And maybe they have to like be at a higher level to take off more prestige or something like that. I don't know. Those are just some mini suggestions. I don't want to go over a whole convoluted process of how to make this better because this is over 35 minutes now. But again, just give me what you guys think in the video description below. And if you have any other questions for me to answer in future log videos, maybe something I still haven't addressed yet or something I haven't really talked about yet, feel free to ask those questions. I'll try to write them down and put them in the next video. But like I said, don't expect the next log video until probably early August. I will try to probably make this into kind of a monthly series. But again, I don't know. There might be times where I actually go out and do more or have longer adventures. It's kind of hard to say at this point, but regardless, I'm really enjoying this still. It's a fun game. Definitely the best mobile game I've ever played. Maybe even the best game for me this year because I've just had so much fun with this, and it's been a very unique and welcoming experience for me. But this has been Pokemon Trainer Rob. Thanks for listening to this, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, not quite sure what I want to do with the still image in this video. I really don't want to turn this into a video log where I'm filming myself because I'm not really the biggest fan of those types of videos, and I don't like showing myself on camera too much. So preferably not that, but I'll try to think of something that might make this a little more entertaining. Again, it's hard because I can't really take video with my phone, and if I do, it'll probably use a lot of data and stuff of that nature, which I don't really have a lot of data to use in reserve. So, yeah, this is Pokemon Trainer Rob. Thanks for listening and watching. I'll see you guys next time. Later, folks.